Okay, real talk. You're standing in your kitchen, coffee in hand, and you reach for something to sweeten it up. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you're thinking, is this actually bad for me? Should I grab the honey instead? Is honey even better? Or is that just something people say because it sounds healthier? Here's the thing. Most people have been getting this completely wrong for years. And today, we're going to settle this once and for all, not with opinions, with actual science. Let's start with something that might surprise you. Honey and sugar are more alike than you think. Both of them are carbohydrates. Both of them contain the same two types of sugar, glucose and fructose. And here's the kicker, both of them will raise your blood sugar levels. So if someone told you that switching to honey means you're totally in the clear, that's not the full picture. But, and this is a big but, the differences between them are real and they actually matter for your health. So stick with me here because this is where it gets interesting. First, let's talk about what they share. 1 gram of any carbohydrate, including honey and sugar, gives you 4 calories. That's the same as protein, and less than half the calories you'd get from fat. Now, both honey and sugar contain glucose and fructose, just in slightly different ratios. Regular table sugar is almost perfectly split, about 50% fructose and 50% glucose. Honey, on the other hand, has about 40% fructose and 30% glucose. So where does the other 30% go? That's where honey starts to pull ahead. That remaining portion of honey contains water, pollen, trace minerals like magnesium and potassium, and small amounts of vitamins. It sounds minor, but those components actually do something. They're not just filler. Now here's something most people skip over: the glycemic index. This is basically a measurement of how fast a food raises your blood sugar after you eat it. Sugar has a glycemic index of 65. Honey comes in at around 58. Okay, you might be thinking, that's not a huge difference. And you're right, it's not dramatic, but you know what? It's consistent. And over time, those small differences add up. A lot of online so-called health experts will tell you honey is dramatically better for blood sugar, that it barely affects insulin compared to sugar. That's an overstatement. Both are medium glycemic index foods, both will raise your blood sugar. The honest answer is that honey raises it slightly less, slightly more slowly. That's the truth, and I'm not going to exaggerate it just to make the video sound more exciting. To put this in perspective, lentils have a glycemic index of around 30. A baked potato, a whopping 93. Honey and sugar both sit in that middle zone. So neither one is your enemy in small amounts, but neither one is a superfood either. What matters most is keeping your blood sugar stable throughout the day, because when blood sugar swings wildly, everything suffers. Your energy, your mood, your focus, your metabolism, even your long-term heart health. Here's the part that nobody wants to hear about sugar. There are 0 health benefits to refined table sugar. None. I'm not going to sugarcoat that, pun intended. The average American consumes over 17 teaspoons, that's 71 grams, of added sugar every single day. And that's not counting the natural sugars in fruit, dairy, or vegetables. That's just the added stuff. The stuff hiding in your salad dressings, your healthy granola bars, your pasta sauces, your morning yogurt. Sugar accelerates aging at a cellular level, contributes to chronic inflammation, drives weight gain, wrecks metabolic function, and has been linked to increased risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even certain cancers. That's not fear-mongering. That's decades of research speaking. So what about honey? This is where the story gets genuinely good. Honey has been used as both food and medicine for literally thousands of years, and modern science is starting to catch up to what ancient cultures already knew. Raw honey contains antioxidants, enzymes, amino acids, and trace minerals that refined sugar simply doesn't have. Now, these aren't present in massive quantities, we're talking trace amounts, but they're real, and they're not nothing. Here's what research actually supports. Honey has demonstrated genuine wound-healing properties. Studies have shown it to be effective for treating chronic wounds, ulcers, and minor burns, largely because of its natural antimicrobial properties and ability to create a protective, moist environment over damaged tissue. This isn't folk medicine anymore. Medical-grade honey products are actually used in clinical settings around the world. Pretty remarkable for something bees make, right? Honey also works as a natural cough suppressant. A study published in the journal Pediatrics found that honey was actually more effective at reducing nighttime cough and improving sleep in children with upper respiratory infections than over-the-counter cough medicines. For adults, similar benefits have been observed in people dealing with bronchitis and seasonal coughs. And here's why: honey coats the throat, has natural anti-inflammatory properties, and its thickness helps soothe irritated tissue. It's not magic, it's biology. Now, you might have heard that local honey can help with seasonal allergies, the idea being that small exposures to local pollen in honey can desensitize your immune system over time. Honestly, clinical studies haven't consistently proven this. Some people swear by it, and anecdotal evidence is everywhere, but the science isn't solid enough to make a strong claim here. So I'll leave that one in the maybe interesting, worth exploring category rather than the definitely proven category. One more thing that makes honey genuinely better than sugar: digestibility. Because bees add natural enzymes during the honey-making process, the sugars in honey are partially pre-broken down before you even eat them. Your digestive system doesn't have to work as hard. For people with sensitive stomachs or digestive issues, this can make a real difference. But here's the honest reality check you need to hear. Honey has more calories per tablespoon than sugar, 64 calories versus 49. It's a small difference, but if you're using it multiple times a day, it adds up. And regardless of whether you're eating honey or sugar, at the end of the day, your body converts both into similar end products. Both raise blood sugar, both stimulate insulin, both, in excess, contribute to the same metabolic problems. The advantage of honey is real, but it's not a free pass to pour it on everything. One critical safety note, and this is non-negotiable: never give honey to a baby under 12 months old. Honey can contain bacterial spores that cause infant botulism, a rare but genuinely life-threatening condition in infants whose immune and digestive systems aren't mature enough to handle it. This isn't a maybe, it's a firm no for babies under 1 year. So here's the bottom line, and I'm going to make it simple. If you're going to use a sweetener, choose honey over sugar. Every time. Go for raw, dark varieties when you can. They contain more antioxidants, more enzymes, and more of those beneficial compounds than the lighter, heavily processed versions you see on most grocery shelves. Raw honey hasn't been heated or filtered to the point where the good stuff gets stripped out. The darker the honey, generally speaking, the richer its antioxidant content. Buckwheat honey, for example, has been shown in studies to have antioxidant levels comparable to some fruits and vegetables. But use it mindfully. A little goes a long way. The goal isn't to replace one bad habit with a slightly better one at the same volume. The goal is to reduce your overall intake of added sweeteners, support stable blood sugar levels, and let your body run the way it was designed to: real food, whole food, lower glycemic choices. That's what moves the needle on long-term health. Not the brand of honey you buy, but the overall pattern of how you eat. You've got the facts now. You know what the research actually says. Not the exaggerated version, not the fear-based version, just the honest, evidence-based truth. Small choices like this one, made consistently over time, are exactly the kind of thing that separates people who feel great at 50 and 60 from people who are fighting preventable health problems. It really does start with the everyday stuff. If this kind of content is useful to you, real science, no hype, just practical information you can actually use, then hit subscribe right now. Every week, I break down health topics exactly like this one. No fluff, no miracle claims, just evidence-based information delivered in a way that actually makes sense. Your health is worth understanding, and you deserve straight answers. I'll see you in the next one.